Hey everyone, Jason here, host of the BombCast with Adam. Super excited for this episode. We're going to be getting into some awesome details around social influencing, building your company on digital, some awesome strategies. Now, we are not being held hostage. I know this background here might look like we're coming to you from a random spot. We were planning on doing this from a conference room. It was all swanky. It was looking awesome. But then the Wi-Fi wasn't totally dialed in. So we had to pull a quick move, drive about 1.5 miles away. We just got settled. So here we are coming to you from a beautiful hotel conference room that Adam has set us up with. So welcome, Adam. Thanks for being on, man.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit before we get into all of it about yourself, kind of what you're doing, how you're kind of getting things set up.
Yeah, so I'm Adam. I live in Southern California in Orange County, and you know, I started my digital journey about 6 months ago. I do mortgages, and you know, my Facebook business page I started just recently.
Okay.
I know that we met at the RE/MAX convention a couple months ago, and it was funny when we met. I had a little gimbal in my hand, and he was sitting there front line. We were getting ready to go see Gary Vee, and talked about developing this whole digital strategy and seeing kind of where the market's going, and just trying to add value to my clientele, provide content, information, and help people obtain the dream of home ownership. So, and that's what I do. So. Very cool,
very cool. So you're working out of Southern California. How long have you been in the mortgage industry?
Oh, over 10 years. I think I'm coming up on my 12th year in the mortgage industry, and you know, I've had great success, but I just see kind of where the market's heading. And going on this journey, it's been exciting, it's been stressful, it's taken a lot of time, and I'm really at ground zero. But to get to ground zero, it took about 4 to 6 months to get here.
Okay, so that's the fun thing. So as Adam said, you know, we're sitting there standing in line, get ready to go see Gary Vee. We're both Gary Vee fans, and we start talking, and you're starting to share kind of like how you're getting started. And for me, it was like, man, I know our audience, and a lot of people that are on the BombCast would love to kind of get an insider's look from someone that's just getting started. Some of the guests that we bring on, they've been doing it for a while, so sometimes it's easy to think, oh, they're professionals, they've been doing it for a while, it must be easy. So in our conversation, I was like, how cool would it be if we actually spent some time with Adam over the course of the next 6 to 9 months and actually followed his story. And so that's really where we're starting. Today is going to be our first time together. We're going to have him back on the BombCast in the future, and really be able to share this story of what's happening in your business and kind of how you're doing it. So let's kind of go back and tell me, you said it took you 6 months just to get to ground zero. What were you doing, and what were some of the strategic moves you were making in your business just to get to that point?
So when I saw like the gap in the mortgage industry is on the digital space, as far as Facebook, Instagram, I really didn't see a lot of valuable content out there. I did see a lot of real estate professionals, but not a lot of mortgage professionals kind of entertaining the space. So first it started with branding, right? So sitting there thinking about, okay, what am I going to call my brand, right? So and I just started going down this route of, I looked up on GoDaddy and looked up The Mortgage Man, and it wasn't available. So then there was a mortgageman.com. I was going to go kind of this superhero route. I mean, everything's just still evolving. So getting a bidding war on this website, I ended up losing the bidding war for that one. Then I saw that the mortgageman.com, no one was using it. So GoDaddy has a service, and they went and obtained the rights to the website for me, and it took about 6 to 8 weeks just to get it transferred over. So from there, I'm just thinking about what am I going to do? What's the next steps? How can I add value? So you get the website going, get that transferred over, then you start the website development. Then it's all, you know, you start posting like pictures, and then I'm noticing, okay, pictures aren't really adding value, and they're not getting to know who I am, right? So. And that's what I want to do, is I want to be able to not only have clients or friends or family that I work with that know me on a personal level, but I want them to know how I conduct my business as well. So I started building out a strategy just the last month or so. Going to be rolling out my content videos and adding value to you that are looking to become homeowners out there. And it's just been a process here. I've had consultants come in. I've worked with Captive Branding. They came in, really helped me out with my strategy, kind of dial things in. I have my studio set up at home. Got the camera going. I got my gimbal here, back there. So, you know, just taking it day by day, coming up with a strategy. How do I want to attack this? And where am I going to go down the road?
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, welcome to the BombCast. I'll several of you pop on, drop a comment in, let us know where you're coming to us from, give us a thumbs up, a heart, let us know that you're watching. As we dive in with Adam, we're going to be getting strategic in some really practical things that you've been doing and hopefully give some real value to everyone as you guys are building your personal brands. But you work for a large logo, which this logo has said, hey, you can go do this. We don't want you to say that you're part of this logo,
right.
But go develop your own personal brand. Go build this out. So how do you kind of approach that personal branding piece, right? You obviously have the backing of a franchise, but then you're going off and doing it on your own.
Right.
How do you build on that value and kind of get in front of people as a personal brand versus just relying on kind of the logo as a brand? You know, I think a lot of people might be in that same situation. I work for a big corporation. How do any salesperson that's out there, right? How do I personally brand myself? How did you really kind of fall in, or what have you learned about personal branding in the last 6 months?
So the biggest thing I've learned with personal branding is I could be called the mortgage man, the mortgage guy, this, that, it doesn't matter. People want to, the biggest thing I see on the digital space is authenticity. I want people to get to know me as an individual and how I'm going to add value to them, how I'm going to be able to give the best consultation that I can. And even if I can't do their loan or if I can't help them, I'll let them know that up front. And that's the thing is where personal branding comes in is I think with my clientele that I've worked with in the past is I'm 100% authentic, right? Who you see, this is me, right? And I think that's the biggest thing with branding is you want people to get to know you as an individual, right? So when I started this journey, initially it was just to stay in front of my organic book of business, and now I'm seeing other people kind of add. It's funny now, I'll get together with friends or I'll go to real estate mixers and it's like, hey, it's the mortgage man, right? So the branding's already kind of taking place, and the people that I work with, they already know who I am, but now it's getting the people that may not know me, right, and know how I do business, and giving them access to that through the digital space.
So it's being able to go one tier further than just your direct sphere of influence is that big piece. If you're watching, please drop your comments in. The reason we go live week in and week out is so that you have access to our guests. You can ask Adam questions on what he's doing in his business. We're monitoring the chat. We will ask them. So drop in your questions. Something there that you said that was interesting is how personal brand is just you. It doesn't have to be kind of shiny or even, it's just who you are in the space and being that. So when you think about the content that you're providing, where do you go to in creating that content? Because I think that's where a lot of people kind of get hung up. They're like, awesome, I can go be a personal brand. That's a great idea. Awesome, Adam. But now I got to go do something with it. I got to put something out in the world. Where do you go for inspiration? How do you develop that content?
So, and that's the thing is when you start doing your research and you start seeing like the Gary V's or the Grant Cardones or you know, the Darren Hardys out there, and I think Gary V says it best is just do it, right? Trial and error, right? So every video doesn't have to be perfect. I remember the first couple videos I have out, they're just like video vlogs of what I do, but there's no add value. It's just, okay, what do I do on a day-to-day basis? And hey, the videos didn't come out as clear as I wanted them, but that's okay. It's trial and error. It's learning, right? So then you think the content space is, I try to get creative. So I have some really creative ideas coming down the pipe where I can not only add value to clients, but I can add value to real estate agents that I partner with as well. But also, you know, mortgage is it's not a fun topic, right? So I'm trying to come up with some ideas where, how can I make this interesting? And I think the most valuable thing people have is time, right? So if I can add information about how to become a homeowner, and people can watch it on their own time, right, in the comforts of their own home, and they can send me direct messages, and then I can just start having that open conversation for them. So as far as my inspiration for content, I look at all the professionals that are further along than I am, and then I also look at kind of Interesting things like I know that what is it, James Gordon, he does the carpool karaoke. So I want to do something similar on that space with like an agent partnership and have a client in there where you're all just having the little gimbal set up on the car and taking people, what's the process like of from start to finish of going through home. So, and it evolves, right? There's no right or wrong answer. There's no right or wrong content to put out, but it's just trial and error. So the more content that you put out, the more engagement you'll get and the more feedback. And then you just kind of find what works and just stick to that for a while until it doesn't work.
That makes a ton of sense. Great kind of feedback on that side. Something I'm curious from is, I think anyone that's in this space, anyone that's trying to do personal branding, anyone that's working to do digital media and influence, sometimes it's easy to have the idea, but then the execution is where it's really hard, right?
That's difficult.
Execution is the hardest part of this whole thing. So how have you kind of, first of all, what has been some of the harder things for you to execute on? And how did you kind of find a path forward to overcome that?
So the hardest thing is I'm not really tech savvy, right? Video editing, I'm not good at, right? Instagram posts, pictures, making, using Canva to come up with some creative stuff, I'm not good at that, right? So I brought in professionals and surrounded myself with individuals that understand this, and I brought them in as consultants, and I said, well, how do you see this? How does it work? And I learned myself, right? So that's the thing is, if you don't have the experience and you look at this, and you're like, I can't do that, right? You can, but just seek out professionals that may be in your area that specialize in this and just ask questions, right? Learn. And then as you learn, then you can kind of take that space. Okay, I learned how to do an Instagram post, or I learned how to do a story on what I do a day to day. Again, it's trial and error, right?
Absolutely. Sean just asked a good question. First of all, he said, "Hey, mortgages are exciting." So you got someone out there that loves mortgages with you. There you go. And Sean was actually asking about BombBomb and Facebook. And actually, what I love about Adam, he's not a BombBomb user. We don't bring on BombBomb users every single time to the BombCast. So it's not something that's made sense for his business at this point. But your question, Sean, about BombBomb videos versus uploading direct to Facebook, 9 times out of 10, when you're uploading to your story and you're uploading videos, you should be directly uploading to Facebook. Facebook loves native uploads. They don't want you posting a YouTube video. They don't want you posting a video that's hosted on some other site. They want you doing native video to your news feed and to your audience that way. Now, I will say with BombBomb, one of the cool things you can do is actually leverage it inside of Messenger. Makes it really easy to not have to be limited to like the 15 seconds that Messenger gives you to shoot a video. So if you've got a 1.5-minute video that you want to send someone, you can use a BombBomb video through a direct message, and you're gonna get much better interaction than just kind of that quick 15-second blip that you might have. So hopefully that helps clarify kind of your question on that side of things, and great one, Sean. So something though, as we were kind of prepping for this, you brought up something that was brilliant, and I wanted to share it to everyone. I know one of the hardest things for anyone that's an individual salesperson, real estate, loan officer is getting people to follow you and getting people to engage with you. And we've all seen the spammy stuff that's out there where it's like, hey, I just started this new page, go like it, go follow it. You were doing something really unique to get people to the Mortgage Man page and engage with you. Tell us kind of a little bit about that strategy.
Yeah, so what was interesting is, I have about 1,500, 1,700 friends on Facebook. So, you do the click all, send the invite, and you get a handful of responses, right? Because again, you get kind of spammed with information, right? So, right now I'm pushing just up to about 300 likes on my page, right? And I just rolled it out about 4 to 6 weeks ago. So now what I did instead is we sent direct messages to individuals that hadn't liked my page, and just kind of a quick comment, say, hey, I just started this new business venture, just want to keep you what's going on in the mortgage and real estate market, like would love it if you like my page, right? And it was crazy because you sent out 30 direct messages through Facebook Messenger and got 25 new likes because of it. But not only that,
it's a crazy conversion. 30 messages, 25 new likes.
So what happened next is now I'm engaged in conversation with those 25 people. I'm not talking about real estate. I'm not talking about mortgage. I'm just talking relational. How are you? How's your family? What's new with you? Right? How's business going for you? Right? And it was really unique because between those 25 conversations, it led to about 8 to 10 lunches.
Wow.
So I got so buried during those couple weeks that I had to say, oh, slow down. I got to slow down here, right? So then now, hey, every month I'm just going to be committed to not only inviting people to like my page, but also engage in that conversation, because that's the biggest thing. Is I love people, I love relationships. You know, I think relationships are the most important thing in any industry, and that's where Facebook allows you to kind of connect with people. And email, I think the open rate is like 15 to 20%. Email just does not work. Email campaigns, I've tried them over and over again through various CRMs. They just don't work. Facebook Messenger, I think it's an 80 to 90% open rate when you send a direct Facebook message. So, you know, up front here now, I'm never asking for anything other than just liking my page. But rather, I want to engage with the people that I might have lost contact with and just see how they're doing. If that leads to future business, great. If not, at least I got to check in with some people that I cared about in the past, or people that I've stayed in touch with and maybe I haven't talked to in a couple months, and just see what's going on in their life.
Well, and I think and the key there is the fact that it's not a selfish ask, right? So for anyone that's trying to grow their pages or grow followership or grow engagement, anytime you do a mass campaign, it's never going to be as effective versus going one-to-one. So an email campaign, when you're sending to 500 people, you're going to have 15, 20% open rate. Even worse is when you do an ad on Facebook or just a native post to Facebook and you get 2% of your audience engaging with you on that side of things. So when you're going to go for it, be very mindful and go kind of more granular than the mass. And if you just did freaking 15 messages a day and you copy, I mean, it's the same message, right? You don't got to do it, put it in their name, same thing, and then send it out. Whether you send that through an email one-to-one, you're going to get a way better engagement than a mass email communication, or you leverage Facebook Messenger, or even Instagram Messenger now. More and more people are getting on. Any sort of way that you can do that direct one-to-one communication, you're going to start a conversation, and you're providing them value, and then you pivot into the relationship. And to me, this is a big thing we've coached real estate agents on. It doesn't matter your industry, what it is you're doing. When you can have a real conversation, it's no longer awkward to follow up and talk business with them. So many people get behind the 8 ball because they go 6 to 8 months without talking to people that they had a relationship with. And then all of a sudden, when I reach back out to you, like, hey, how's the house? And you're like, dude, I haven't talked to you in like 8 months. Like, that's awkward. Don't do that. Stop it. Do this. Follow up, engage with them, and then pivot into a business meaningful conversation. That's how you're going to grow a repeat referral. And there's more tools, whether it's email, direct messenger, through Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn. All of these ways you have direct access to your audience that you just got to be mindful on and be slow on some levels, Do 10 a week. But if you're converting 30 messages to 8 lunches, that's pretty dang good. So that's I love that. So everyone that's watching, drop your questions in. Thank you guys. I just saw a bunch of new people on. Drop it in. You know, Ryan just said engage and pivot. I like it, so that's cool. Alan is saying, you spoke with Adam for about 20 minutes about what I do and my family before we talked about, do you know Alan Moreno?
Yes.
Awesome. So he said basically, his father's low school and needs relationship before building a relationship. So all about, so just some mad props, social proof right there, people. There relationships work on that side of things. So cool. Got a lot of people in here giving us some good feedback. Drop your questions in. So one of the things I'm curious about is, okay, so you're engaging with all these people, you're executing, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you're building the people around you on that side of things to make sure you're moving forward in the right ways. But when it comes to actually following up, one of the things we were talking about is needing a system. And a very systematic way that if you just throw this out there, you may get interaction, but if you don't have a process. So tell us a little bit about kind of how you're developing that process.
So the biggest thing is follow up. I mean, just in the mortgage space, pre-marketing and like before you finish the deal and you're following up. Now you close the deal. Post-marketing or post-follow-up is just as important as when you're taking someone through the process, So for me, I'm a referral-based business, So all my business have been organic. I appreciate all the business, the relationships that have been formed over the years. But now as I've been beginning to grow, it's gotten a little bit out of hand, So I think it's very important to have a CRM, to have a follow-up system, to make sure that you're engaging with your clientele So the one that my company uses is Salesforce, and that's a good way to at least keep engaging, and you can notate exactly when you last spoke with them, when you last followed up, and also set a trigger to follow up with them in a month, 2 months, 3 months. It takes time. It takes discipline. It's a lot of work. You might see it as that extra step, but that extra 5 minutes you spend making those notes, setting follow-up reminders, and then following the system is extremely important. Because if you, as you grow your business, and especially in the digital space, if you have more business coming in and you don't have a follow-up system other than just looking at your text messages and phone calls, it's not going to work, and you're going to let a lot of leads or a lot of referrals slip through the cracks.
John just nailed it on the head as well, saying the fortune is in the follow-up.
I love that.
It's not in the generation, it's in the follow-up. And Sir Eugene Fowler said, your only weakness is that you care too much. So I think that makes sense. You hear it, right? Hear it, and I think that what's interesting about follow-up too is remembering that you got to have that strategic process of conversion, right? And how you get that person from coming in and asking about a loan to actually that process, but remembering that the content that you're putting out into the world is a way of following up, right? It's a way to stay top of mind, and that's why consistency is the king of this process, because when you're consistent with it, you're staying, it's like you're following up with them because you're in their newsfeed, you're doing videos, it is a way to follow up, and in a way that can get you in front of a lot of people in a meaningful way kind of in that process. I think it's a key thing for people to remember is, why am I going to spend so much time doing this business activity of posting, of putting content out in the world? Well, it's for you to stay top of mind. It's for you to follow up with all the people that maybe aren't in the funnel, quote unquote, whatever that funnel might look like for your organization. Ryan is asking, do you automate your follow-up? Like, where's automation and where does Adam come in?
So right now I'm building out the automation kind of follow-up, where you can have triggers where text messages can get sent, and then that at least engages in the conversation, similar to how I send the direct messages on Facebook. But now if you have the automation sent out and set triggers to, hey, just want to follow up and see how things are going with you, right? And then now they engage back. Now you're in a text message conversation with the client. So building out the automation, building out the where you can set triggers and set various campaigns. Again, I don't use email. I prefer text message, Facebook direct message, or a phone call, right? So it's the same thing in my CRM, where you can set a follow-up trigger, send a text message, and then it engages them in a conversation.
Very cool. So hopefully that answers your question, Ryan. What are you doing, Ryan? Let us know. Are you doing automation? Are you doing one-to-one? What does that look like for you? If you're just joining us, welcome to the BombCast. Jason here with Adam. We're getting into the process of becoming a social influencer, building your digital strategy. How do you actually get it done? Adam is in the beginning stages of the process. So we're kind of getting into what does it look like to get started in this space and how you begin to really do it. Now, one of the things that I'm curious on, with video, right, is a big piece of the content that you're putting out there. And a lot of times people are hesitant when it comes to video. What has
I'm the first one.
What's your video journey look like, getting on camera? What's that process look like?
So that's hard, right? I think no one likes to be on camera, right? Some people love it, right? But for me, it's always like, oh, well, I wish I had this hairline filled in, right? Or I wish that, I might have shaved this area that day. But I think Gary Vee said it best. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you look like. They care about the content that you're putting out there. So I encourage all people to just try it. And when you start something, you're not going to be great at it. But as you build it out and as you develop it, you continue to get better and better and better, and you keep improving. But you have to have a starting point. So it's the same thing with my Facebook business page, right? This is a long-term play for me. This is not something where I'm expecting results. I talked to my team. I said, I'm expecting no results from this for the next year. 0 results. But I want to just keep building it strategically that way and take my time with this, because I definitely feel that this is a long-term play. I feel like if you're not getting into the digital space now, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, somebody else will be, and they'll capture that business that you hope to obtain. So the most valuable thing that we have in life is time, right? And what social media allows you to do is give you back that time to check in with people, to watch videos if you want on various topics or information. Everybody works a job, right? Everybody has, a lot of people have families. I have 2 kids myself, a beautiful wife at home, and you get home from work, you want to spend time with that family, right? But as I invest into the digital space and I put out content and information, that's there. That stays there.
Right.
So people can access it at any time they want to, right?
I think that's a key thing as that process, right? Like, you may be putting a video out today that won't net you a quote return until 6 months from now. But 6 months from now, you could be sitting on the beach on vacation and someone's searching mortgages and sees your educational video and they're reaching out to you. So I think it is a shift in mentality. It is not a quick fix situation, and it's something that just take a long time kind of to go through the process on that side of things. Michael was saying, I love the comment too, it's about building relationships through video, not just making great videos, right? And I think that's what it really comes down to, is the relationships. Right now, you guys are all watching us on video. We can't see any of you. You get to see us. You get to begin to that process of building a relationship and building a connection. And the beauty is that this is available to everyone. There's no barrier to entry. If you have a phone in your pocket, you can be doing this with people. You can be connecting, and that it's about your local market center, right? The majority of the people that we're working with and that are probably watching are working in hyper-local areas. You're not trying to go viral, right? Like that's not your goal nationwide. Not You're focused on 2 counties from what you're saying, and for you to go viral in those 2 counties is to be at the grocery store and someone to walk up and be like, I saw your video. Right? Like, that's not that hard. Especially in our current landscape. So how do you kind of, when you think about the hyper local nature of it, what kind of content how does that shift your approach to it? How are you thinking about kind of content from that perspective?
Well, so when you look at like strategic markets, or in Orange County, there's multiple different cities, and every city has like their own characters. So some of the content that will be coming out will be just, hey, maybe myself and a business partner or a former client, and we're going to one of our favorite local restaurants. And not talking anything about business. It's just, hey, I'm Adam the Mortgage Man, right? I'm here with Jason, right, from BombBomb, and we're here at one of our favorite restaurants here in, let's just say Costa Mesa, right? Fantastic restaurants out there, and then you're sharing maybe the owner, what they do there, and what business model they have, and then you just have a meal, and that's it. And you're becoming a brand in that city, right? So then people recognize them. Oh, he knows about Costa Mesa, or he knows about Irvine, or he understands Anaheim Hills, or you go all the way to LA, or you go to the Inland Empire, right? So, and then you can kind of become a local brand in that area. So as you kind of expand your reach, or you expand your city reach, your county reach, those are different ways to be strategic about it. I'm not talking anything about business. I'm just talking about a favorite place that I like to go to in the neighborhood.
And that's the thing. And John just talked about saying, people are becoming more and more savvy with their access to information, technology, and even some levels of education. But there is an interesting thing between the difference between information and education. And I think what a lot of the opportunity here is the fact that I can go get all the information I want, I can pop onto some site and probably get a sense of what type of mortgage I can get through putting my email address and my address in, That's information. But then how do you begin to think about education, Because just because I have the information does not mean I'm educated, Like, I got an email the other day from, I know, an automated system, and it told me my home's value, and it told me that if I went out and sold my home, it would be like 3x. I don't know if I believe that, but it's in my inbox as information. Then it seems like your job is to educate. So how do you really kind of see that value of education coming in and the content that you're putting out there?
So I think the biggest thing as far as educating people and where I want to develop there is, a requirement that we have at my company is to do one home buying seminar every quarter, which is great. I love to meet like first-time home buyers that are going through the process, because I deal with this on a daily basis. They don't. So when I'm speaking terms, they don't necessarily understand that. But a lot of people don't want to go to that class, or they don't have the time to go to that class. But that's what's great about Facebook, is you can go Facebook Live, and you could do a tutorial, on a specific product or program, or what are the steps to getting pre-approved, where's the initial phases, and you could do a Facebook Live webcast and take people's questions just like you're doing here, and you can answer them, and they're doing it from their comforts of their own home, and you could find out what time works best for you. And that's the direction I want to go as far as educating people, right? So digital home buying seminars, right? And doing it on specific programs and spending time to answer those questions and going from there.
And the beauty of Facebook Live and taking that strategy for everyone that's watching is it's not always about your live viewership in the moment. Obviously you want viewers watching, but that content lives on, right? That live goes to your Facebook page and people can come back and watch it and engage with it past the moment of you just being live. And so you have to remember that content does live on. It's not just about in the moment content.
Correct.
Especially when you're thinking about Facebook as a platform. Now other spaces like Instagram or other things, you know, stories, that type of stuff, obviously you're not going to do an educational seminar on as an Instagram story. So you want to think about the spaces and the type of content on that side. So, you know, typically we try to keep these at about half an hour. So we're coming towards the bottom of the hour. Great questions. Keep them coming. We'll keep hanging out as long as you see questions. But as we get close to wrapping up, something I love to always ask our guests. And I didn't prep you for this, so this is just off the cuff. You got 2 questions, okay?
Sure.
The one thing I always love asking about people who care about their businesses and are thinking about it, are kind of learners, which many of our guests are, most of them, all of them. What are you absolutely obsessing about right now? Like when you think about it with your business, like what is it, either on the macro, micro, but what's something that you are just totally obsessed with?
So right now, this whole digital space is so much fun. I'm having, like, it's a lot of trial and error. But I'm learning on the fly, and then you build out this whole CRM and the follow-up system, and then you see people engaging with you, and they're asking valid questions, and it just reminds me of what I do. The end goal, right, is to get someone in their home, right? And a lot of people might not want to sit and meet with me face to face. They might want to ask questions through Facebook Messenger. And it's really unique to see the questions that come in, and people that maybe think they can't obtain home ownership absolutely can. So what I'm very passionate about is I just want to get out the message. And I feel at the place that I work is we have the best products, we have the best pricing, we have an array of options that we can offer people. And if we can't do it, I'm going to let people know up front. But I want to be there as a consultant, and I want to handhold them from beginning to end, and even post relationship. So, and you know, now I recently received a promotion at my job as well, and I have a team coming on and starting in a couple weeks as well, and they're kind of sharing the same, you know, this is where the industry's going, and they're passionate about it as well. So I think in the last few months I've reached a new love for what I do.
That's cool.
And I'm having so much fun, you know, wearing so many different hats and trying to balance it all out. But this is great stuff. This is awesome.
That's cool. Well, thank you. Ryan said Adam has the secret sauce. So I think you're right. Everyone that's watching, that'll be watching in the future, there's some really good stuff. Now,
it's coming.
if you joined us kind of midway or later, Adam and I met standing in line, getting ready to go listen to Gary Vaynerchuk speak back in February. I saw he had a gimbal in his hand. I thought, okay, this guy gets it. We started talking, kind of connected there, then had a follow-up call afterwards. I got his card and started to learn what he was doing. I was like, man, how cool would it be if we kind of documented his journey over the course of the next 9 months, starting now at the very beginning, come back in 3 months, come back in 6 months, come back in 9 months. So that is the plan. We're going to be bringing Adam back on in a few months to continue this conversation, because all of us are in the process. None of us have fully arrived of absolutely crushing this thing. So in about 3 months or so, we will be back on with Adam, learning more, so be looking for that coming up in the future. So great comments. Thank you everyone for being on, for joining us on the BombCast. Next week we have Justin Stutz coming on. Justin is a master at Facebook ads, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how to do an ad effectively for your business. So you're not going to want to miss it. Make sure to point up to the 3 dots, should be somewhere across the top there. Turn on notifications, that way you'll know when we're live. We'll be coming at you next Thursday at noon Mountain, 2 o'clock Eastern. So thank you guys for being a part of the BombCast, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you.